Hello my fellow crafters. Today I am going to show you 3 different wire weaving techniques. We're going to go over the diagonal weave, diagonal steps, and the fern weave. Now all of these weaves are intermediate to advanced, but I'm going to try to break it down and make it as simple as possible for you. And you're going to want to get out either a 20 gauge or an 18 gauge base wire. For all of these I'm using 6 wires so that I can just go from one right into the other. And then for your weaving wire you're going to want either a 28 or a 26. I would suggest a 26 for just getting started. I will be using this 12 gauge silver wire here with a 24 gauge green wire so that you can see my weaves a little bit easier. For your tools, I'm using a ring clamp. You don't have to. You can use painter's tape or maybe an alligator clamp if you'd like. And I'm also going to be using a pair of nylon jaw pliers. These are harder nylon jaw pliers. It's not a need, it just helps a lot with the different weaves that we're doing to kind of keep them in place. So to get started, you want to line up your wires and bring in your weaving wire up through between the first and the second wire, just like that, and go ahead and wrap it around your base wire. We're just going to wrap it around the base wire one time and get straight into the diagonal weave. And to do the diagonal weave, this is extremely similar to the sumac weave or the modified sumac, but I'll show you the difference when we get up to the top. So after you have your wire attached to your base wire, you're going to come up over top of the first and second wire and then come down between the second and third. Just like that, very simple. And then you're going to come up between the first and second and go over top of the second and third wire to come down between the third and the fourth wire. And you're going to repeat that process all the way up each wire. So you're going to go up 2 and then go back so that you can come up between the other 2. So like I said, you're going to come up by 2 each time, and then you're going to go back by 1. Okay, that was the number I was trying to think of. Sorry about that. And then go up 2 and back 1. Go up 2 and then back 1. Now you're just going to wrap it back around. Now this is where this differs from diagonal weave to the sumac weave, because the sumac weave you'd come back down one at a time, but this time we're going to come back behind everything just like that, and you're going to go all the way back down to the bottom and start over again. So you go up over top of the first one just like you did at the beginning, and then up 2, go down between those and come back 1. So you're going to come up between the first and the second. Now you're going to go up 2, so over the second and third, and then you're going to come down between the third and fourth. And then you're going to come back 1 again to come up between the second and third, and then go up by 2 wires, and then go between the fourth and the fifth, come back 1 wire, so you're coming up between the third and fourth, and up over 2 wires, down between that 5th and 6th wire there, kind of tuck them all into place, and come back 1 to come up between the 4th and the 5th wire. And then you're going to go over top of those last 2 and over top of that top one time and come back around. Now personally, I do prefer the modified sumac or the sumac weave more than this one. I do like the look of this one, but I don't like kind of how slippy it is back and forth. It doesn't hold on as well, but it does have a nice look to it. So to use this like in the middle of a pattern or at the beginning or the end of the pattern, that's one thing, but to use it for a whole pattern, I don't know that I would do that. But I'm showing you this because we will be using this weave in some of the different pieces that we'll be making. So now I've got to the top of this one. I'm coming all the way back behind, and then we're going to go up over top of that first one. Just like that. Sorry, my tools are getting in my way. And then we go back up over the first and second one. So we're repeating that cycle of going up 2 and then back 1. Up 2, and back 1. Up 2, and back 1. Up 2, back 1, up 2, and back 1. Then we're coming around that one, and we're going to go all the way back down to the bottom. So I'm going to repeat this one more time, and then we'll move straight on to the next weave. So you go up around that bottom one time by itself, just like that. And then you're going to come up over top of the first and second wire, come down between the second and third, come back 1, so you're going to come up between the first and second wire. And then you're going to go up over top of the second and third wire to come down between the third and the fourth. And then you're going to come back that 1 wire so that you can come up between the second and third. Go over top of wires 3 and 4 and come down between 4 and 5. Come back 1 wire so you're coming up between the 3rd and 4th wire, and come back up over top of the 4th and 5th wire so that you can go down between 5 and 6. Now you're going to come back 1 wire, so you're going to come up between 4 and 5, and then you're going to go over top of 5 and 6, wrap around that 6th wire 1 time by itself, and then you're going to come back down to the bottom. So see, as you can tell, it is a really nice stitch. Kind of looks a little bit like a knitted sweater in a way, but I still prefer the sumac stitch more. So now we're going to move on to the diagonal weave. I'm sorry. Now we're going to move on to the diagonal steps, which is this one here. Now this one here, you can modify it a little bit if you want to, and instead of, as you can see, I've done 2 wires at a time, both here and with the wire that goes up. You can just do that 1 at a time if you want. I went with 2. It does give it a more striking look to it. But we're going to go ahead and get that started. So to get started, we're going to come down around that bottom wire 1 time. And I'm actually going to bring it out a couple strips so that it's not right up against this one. So I'll just go around that bottom wire 3 times, and then we'll go ahead and get into that stitch. Now to do the diagonal weave, basically going to go up the stairs 2 at a time. So you go up over top of 1 and 2, and we're going to do that twice. Alright, and then you're going to come back 1 to come up between 1 and 2. And you're going to go back up over top of 2 and 3 2 times. So there's 1 and there's 2. See, it kind of looks like the double flame that we've previously done. So you should be similar with this pattern. Now we're going to come back that 1 to come up between 2 and 3, and we're going to go over top of 3 and 4, and then come down between 4 and 5. And we'll repeat that one more time. Now we're going to come up between 3 and 4 so that we can go over top of 4 and 5 twice. So there's the first time. There's the second time. And we're going to repeat that by going between 4 and 5 to go over top of 5 and 6. Now here's where it's going to change up a little bit. We're going to lock this one into place by wrapping around 6 one time. And then we're going to come all the way back behind down to the bottom. Kind of hold that in place with your finger and then come back over. You're not going to be able to hold it well with your finger, but it's going to help you to get the right tension that you need. And we're going to do that 2 times. You can do it once, but I'm going to do it twice. And then while you're down here at the bottom, we're going to repeat over here, just like we did here and here. We're going to go over top of that bottom one time. And then we're going to go over top, we're going to go over top the bottom one twice, just like that. And then we're going to come up over top of 1 and 2 2 times. And then come up between 1 and 2, and we're going to go over top of 2 and 3 twice. As you can see, it doesn't quite line up yet, but that's what the nylon pliers are for. So now you're going to come up between 2 and 3, and go over top of 3 and 4, come down between 4 and 5, and you want to do that 2 times. Now you're going to come back 1 so that you can come up between 4 and 5. Now you're going to go over top of 4 and 5 2 times. Then you're going to come back 1 so that you can go between 4 and 5 to go over top 5 and 6 2 times. And now we're just going to go around 6 one time. And take your nylon pliers and kind of bring them in together. And we're going to repeat this again. So you're going to come back behind everything, holding it into place with your finger so that it doesn't like loosen up or anything, and bring that up around. You want to do that 2 times. And then bring it around the bottom wire 2 times. Just 1 and 2. And then you're going to repeat the same thing we've been doing. Go over top of 1 and 2, and then between 1 and 2 to go over top of 2 and 3. Now, if you've been following along with this series, you may have noticed that a lot of the weaves kind of, in a way, resemble each other or work into each other. So if you learn how to do one weave, learning how to do another weave is a little bit easier because you're kind of taking what you've learned from the last weave and adding to it each step. Don't be surprised if you see a cat foot pop in here at some point in time, because for some reason my cat has decided it is playtime and the end of the wire is the toy. Wire weaving is definitely not compatible with playful cats. Alright, so we're going to repeat this one more time, and then we'll move into the fern weave. And as you see, this is why I have broken fingernails all the time, is I use my fingernails as tools. So we're going to hold that wire down and bring it back behind everything, making sure that everything is lined up where we want it to be. And go over top of all of your wires without crossing over them like I just did there a second ago. And then come up around that bottom wire 2 times to kind of lock all that into place. And then you're going to go up over top of 1 and 2 2 times, and up between 1 and 2, and go over top of 2 and 3 2 times. Go between 2 and 3 and come up over top of 3 and 4 2 times. Now go between 3 and 4, up over top of 4 and 5, and down between 5 and 6. And now we're going to go back 1 so we can come up between 4 and 5 and go over top of 5 and 6 twice. And then we're going to lock that into place. Just like that. I'm going to go ahead and snip that off right there, because the rest of the wire is not quite long enough. I already have another wire out, so I'm good to go. So far we have this here as our diagonal weave, and this is our diagonal steps. Now we're going to move on to the fern weave. This looks far more complicated than it actually is, and I will try to simplify it as much as I can. Okay, so now I have my wire ready, and I'm going to start the same way as I did all the others. I'm going to bring it up between 1 and 2, hold it in place, wrap it around that first wire, and we're just going to go right into the weave with this. So I'm going to actually wrap this 7 times. You can wrap the bottom wire as many times as you want, as long as you remember how many times you did it, because you're going to want to repeat that pattern. So we'll go with 7. So there's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Sorry, I actually did that 8 times, so I'm going to bring that back around. So to get started with this, we're going to go up the stairs again, just like we did before. I'm actually going to have to wrap this one more time because I monkeyed that up a bit. So we're going to go ahead and go with 9. Alright. Now I just got to remember I got to do 9 in between. It gives it a more striking look the further apart these are anyhow, so that's fine. So you're going to come up over top of 1 and 2 and then down between 2 and 3. Like I said, this is kind of a repeating process with the up 2 thing. Going to come back 1, go up over 2 and 3. Come back 1 to go up between 2 and 3. And go up over top of the next 2 wires. So you're going to want to go over top of 3 and 4 and come down between 4 and 5. Go back 1 wire. So now you're coming up between 3 and 4, and you're going to go over top of 4 and 5 and come down between 5 and 6. Back again, just 1 to come up between 4 and 5, and then over top of 5 and 6. I'm going to take this out of here. Now you're going to go over top of wire number 6 1 time. Kind of straighten that up a bit. And then you're going to want to come back behind all of the wires, just like you did with this one. And come straight up. Straight back down. Now you can do this just 1 time if you'd like. I'm going to do it 2 times. You could even do it 3 times if you really wanted to, but I'm going with 2. And now instead of coming back down to start down here, we're actually going to stay up at the top and come up over top of the 6 wire 1 time. So this here, now, instead of doing the diagonal weave, it's almost like we're doing the sumac weave again. So I'm saying if you learn how to do 1 weave at a time, you'll quickly learn that in a way they all resemble each other in one way or another. So now you're going to come up between the 4th and 5th wire. So instead of going back 1, you're going back 2 and over top of 2. And now we're going to come back 3 wires. So we're going to go back behind the 6th, 5th, and 4th wire to come up between the 3rd and 4th wire. And now you're going to want to go up over top of the 4th and 5th wire, back behind the 5th, 4th, and 3rd wire to come up between the 2nd and 3rd. And now you're going to go over top of the 3rd and 4th wire and down between the 4th and 5th. And you're going to repeat that until you get all the way down to the bottom. So now you're coming up between the first and the second to go over top of the second and third. And go all the way down to the bottom now, and you're going to come up over top of 1 and 2, and then around 1 time. And that's going to count as the first one of the coils on the bottom. And you're going to want to make sure that that is tightened into place a little bit so it's nice and straight. So instead of having that diagonal step going this way, we're going straight up and down. So we've done 1 already here, so we have to do 8 more to hit that 9. So let's go ahead and move on down that line. Make sure everything is tight and uniform. Now with this one here, you can do, say, 3 wires, 4 base wires, 5 base wires. I'm doing 6. It is really up to you and the look of your design. Whatever it is that you're going for, be creative and allow yourself to have some freedom. So now we're going to come up over top of 1 and 2 once, and then back 1 to come up between 1 and 2. You want to go up 2 wires, so you're over top of 2 and 3 to come down between 3 and 4. And just repeat that process all the way up. So you're going up 2, back 1, up 2, back 1, up 2, back 1, and then you're going to want to come all the way down. I say you gotta, and go around those, all of the wires 2 times, or once if you prefer, or even 3 times. Like I said, it is up to you. And now you're going to come up between the 5th and 6th wire to go around the 6th wire 1 time. And then you're going to want to go down 2, so you're coming up between 4 and 5, and go up over top of 5 and 6. And now we're going to go down 3 wires to come up between 3 and 4. And then you're going to want to go over top of 4 and 5. So you're going to go back up 2 wires. And then you're going to go down 3 wires, up 2 wires, down 3 wires, up 2 wires, down 3 wires. Now you're back at the bottom, so you're going to come up over wires 1 and 2. And then you're going to go around the bottom wire 1 time so you can get things locked into place. Just like that. And now we're going to go down that line. So Now we're going to go up over top of 1 and 2. This is going to be the last time I'm going to be able to do this because I'm out of wire, or I'm running out of wire. So you go over top of 2 wires and then back down 1 wire. Come up over 2 wires, back down 1 wire. Up 2, down 1. Up 2, down 1. Up 2, down 1. And now you're going to come back behind all of your base wires. Up over top of all your base wires. Back down and back up. And now wrap it around that top wire 1 time by itself. Now we're going to start going back down the stairs. And this I should say we're going back down the ladder because we're straight up and down instead of an angle. So let's go down 2 wires, come back up 2 wires, go down 3 wires, up 2 wires, down 3, up 2, down 3, up 2, down 3, up 2, down 2, and up 1. Tuck that into place. And then you're going to want to wrap it around your wire and finish it off. So there's 2. So now we have our 3 different weaves completed. I said this is the diagonal weave, which I got a little bit wonky there. Like I said, it doesn't hold tight very well. And our diagonal steps. And then our fern weave. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. And I look forward to making many more things with you in the future using some of these weaves that we have been learning over the last few wire weaving videos. If there's anything in particular that you would like to learn more of, please let me know and I'll see what I can do for you. In the meantime, happy crafting, and I'll see you soon.